the newest member to the One Championship roster, Garrett Lineberger. Thank you, Garrett, for the time today. How's life right now for you, and how you holding up in this life of the quarantine, I guess?
I'm doing really great, actually. I've actually enjoyed this time. I mean, apart from all the negative things going on, I think it's a really good time for everybody to work on themselves. Self care and refining their craft, figuring out what they really want in life. So everything's been good. I've just been working a lot, training, and that's really the gist of it right there.
Outside of training, what have you been working on?
I landscape and hardscape full time as well, and then I've been doing a lot of art. I've been trying to get back into my art and trying to make a little side hustle out of that.
Well, that's what life is about, right? Side hustles.
Yeah, be a renaissance man.
Exactly. Until you make the big time, right?
Uh huh.
All right. Before we get into one championship, I wanted to ask you about some of some of your background, right? A lot of people might not know who you are, especially in Asia.
I'm from a small town in Maryland called Hughesville, a very rural area, about 30 minutes away from Washington D.C. Grew up wrestling my whole life, and God willing, I was able to, you know, I really put a lot of time and effort over the years into. I love competing, and I love pushing myself against the best. So just coming from a small town and made a lot of good connections. I met a lot of the right people, and just tried to keep my head on straight. And then once I got done with college, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I kind of wanted to keep wrestling, but there was not much money in the wrestling, international wrestling that is, and so I started going over to strong style over in Cleveland. Um, was training out there with a bunch of my buddies, and then I blew out my knee. I had to come back home to Maryland. Then ended up over at Team Lloyd Irvin. Uh, Loved it over there, and ended up with one, and here we are now.
All right. There's a lot to digest right there. So first of all, you went to college at Notre Dame, right?
Yes,
And that's why you're over in that Cleveland area, that Ohio area, and that's
right.
why. But what led you to strong style though? Like you said that you had a connection there, but
Yeah.
what sparked your interest? I guess.
Um, I A couple of my teammates, my guys that were like my big brothers on the team that really helped me out because when I got to college I was 17, so never I'm the only child, so like all my brothers, like all my best friends were basically my siblings. So there was a couple different my teammates that I graduated by the time I was finished with college. They were over there, and then Jessica I over in the UFC. She's one of my good friends. She was over there as well. So um, it was like Notre Dame connection. Like everybody from my school, if they were fighting, they went straight over to strong style. It was like a little like Notre Dame like sanctuary.
So you said you blew your knee out and then you went back home. Uh,
Mhm.
what happened with that? Did you have to get surgery? Was there a long recovery process?
Yeah, I was supposed to get surgery, but I didn't really want to. I was honestly scared. I never had a major injury. I tore my MCL and ACL, um, just just doing MMA drilling, just doing some takedowns with an old teammate of mine. He's in Bellator, Joey Davis, and then John Gunther. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, and yeah, we were just rolling around early and just landed really funny. I ended up getting a PRP, where they take the blood out and they spin around in the centrifuge and then they shoot it back into the injured area, and that stuff is magic. If you can avoid getting surgery, I highly recommend getting PRP. I was out for a while. It took a while to get the PRP, but in a couple of weeks, I wasn't back to 100, but I was back in the gym again. Mhm.
All right, so you go back into the gym. You're with Team Lloyd Irvin, a world-renowned team. When you get there, the first couple of weeks, how was it?
Spankings. Took some whoopings. I can hold my own in the wrestling aspect, but nobody really knows how good that team is. Like the systems that we all train, and it's not like everybody learns the same thing at once. It's body types, different systems that Master Boys has us on, and striking, jujitsu, and yeah, it wasn't it wasn't the funnest training camp because I went right when I got off the injury, I went right into fight camp for the Cowboy Cerrone fight, the Cowboy Fight Series. I was on the very first series of that, and yeah, it wasn't fun at first. I'll tell you that. The schedule took a little while to get used to, but I personally I like getting like work in practice because it keeps me honest. You know, you never want to. If you're the best guy in the gym, you're doing something wrong. Like you're not getting pushed right, or there's something not fully I guess connecting or whichever.
With the team, you guys do have a couple other prospects coming up too. I actually recently spoke with Tafan,
Yeah.
and he's gonna fight on the Contender Series, and he's out there, right? He's supposed to
Sure.
be a diamond in the rough. He's supposed to be
Oh,
a killer, right?
it's on the scene. Just wait till I got this on the scene. It's gonna be scary for a lot of people. I mean, if yeah, that he's so well-rounded, super hard worker, and one of the nicest guys you ever meet. He's a very gentle person. I love all those guys. And then we got a 170-pound um, Jason Craig Willingham. He's number one amateur welterweight in the country, and then he's going to be going pro soon, I believe. And then, as you know, Sadiq, and then James Pitt, a couple other guys. So, yeah, it's on the jiu-jitsu side. That's taken care of over there. There's a lot of guys over there.
Yeah. Now, with the coaching staff, like who have you been working closely with to kind of mold the other aspects of your game?
Um, Really, Master Lloyd for the jiu-jitsu side, and then Jamal Hargrove, and he's a big diamond in the rough. I think he's probably the most underrated coach in combat sports. Uh, he's black belt in judo, brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and his striking is world class. Like, uh, he's been very tough on me, but it's been very good for me for my striking growth. After a while, you feel like you're not really making any strides, and then when things start to click, they become a little better. But also, you learn from your teammates as well. I've learned a lot from every belt. Guys that come through and train with us, you can learn from anybody. It's not just the coaches. You can pick up something from anybody. You got to keep open perspective when it comes to training.
Definitely. Now, what aspect of mixed martial arts have you picked up rather quickly?
Um, I'd say jujitsu. Um, the most being able to combine my wrestling with it. That took a while. I didn't think I'd ever be good at jujitsu. I didn't understand that at all for a while, and then it has begun to click. Um, the drilling has probably helped me the most. I personally, I'm used to 100-degree room or banging in the wrestling room hard. You want to drill like you're going to wrestle a match. In jiu-jitsu, it's like repetition, slow, smooth, slow and smooth, and it took a while for me to adjust to that. The striking's coming along well too, but that still needs a lot of work.
A couple days ago, your management, they announced that you signed with one championship.
Yeah.
How did that all get put together?
On my, I got a Facebook message, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in a odd place. I was in like purgatory, like mixed martial arts purgatory or something. I didn't. It was after the Cowboys fight. It was way like a year. I mean, it was earlier this year, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Do I go back to wrestling? Do I just try to do jiu-jitsu? Do I just go get a job? Yeah, it was very tough, and I was just working and training, and then I got a message from my manager, and he had said that one was interested, or like if he reached out, what would I be interested if he put a word in for me? Let me marinate on that for a second. Let me make sure that that's what I really want to do, because it's not for the faint of heart. And all I ever wanted to do was just to get paid to compete. Like that's all I ever wanted. Like, even when I was in college wrestling, I was, man, I just want to get paid to compete. Like I've been around so many like great people, and it's just I can't believe that it's. I mean, I still have to do my part on the deal, but I always wanted to fight for one. When I first saw it, I was like, that looks so cool. I'd love to be able to travel over to Asia, and like I love traveling and to get to compete and experience different cultures. I love the culture over there. I like like the old samurai, like anime, like everything over there. I'm a big fan of it all. So it's a dream come true, honestly. Um, I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, once you start getting the ball rolling, man, you're gonna be able to fight all over Asia. They go
Yeah,
pretty much everywhere. So, and
yeah,
and one of the hot spots would be like Japan would be the hot spot,
cool,
and they do some major
cool.
shows. So maybe even debuting. I don't know. I think they have a card coming up at the end of the year in Tokyo. Would
That
that
was
be something? Would that be a dream?
there. Please get me on there. That's all I gotta say. I would love to. Yeah, Tokyo would be. I would love to make a debut there. I mean, that's where MMA started. Out there, I was watching the old tournaments, the Ballet Tudo. Watching Hickson Gracie and all those guys back then. It's crazy how much it's evolved, but those pioneers in the sport, they really did so much for us.
As a decorated collegiate wrestler, right? And then you see all these fighters that are coming up. Most of them, when they become very successful, they come from the same background. Why do you think there's so much success with those types of athletes?
Um, I think it's just in wrestling or just wrestlers coming up. You mean?
Wrestlers that become
Yeah,
fighters, they're pretty much, if you look at the champions, that's who they're predominant. You know what I mean? They're dominating.
definitely. I think it's the mental fortitude instilled at a young age. A lot of wrestlers start early, so if that's instilled in your mind, that becomes part of your DNA. Like that's all you want to do. That's all you've known is go, 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 go. And if there's an aspect of wrestling that you're not good at, then you're gonna work to try to balance it out. So I think it's the same thing. You get addicted to it. You get honestly like a very very like you get a rush from it, like a high from it. And you know, I think wrestling rooms in general. I think everybody should spend a week in a wrestling room just to just to understand what it's like. There's kids crying, there's fights, there's everything you can think of, and uh, nothing's. I think the losses help the wrestlers more than anything because after a loss, you go into a deep state of contemplation. Do I suck? What do I need to work on? Like, and then when you come out of it, nothing can stop you. So, you just put that belief and you put the work in, it's gonna happen. I mean, I personally like seeing the guys who don't have the best wrestling accomplishments come into this sport and do that. I love seeing that because they're not as the guys with all the accomplishments. They don't get the same. They don't have the same drive or the hunger. You know, the guys that don't get the same. Well, one-time state champ, but never got a national title. Those guys are very, very hungry, and they want more and more and more. Because you don't want to stop wrestling, and it sucks that it has that in college.
Well, when you do make your promotional debut, like what kind of style? Because there's so many different styles that you could compete against. What would be a style that interests you to be faced against, across the cage from you?
Uh, I wouldn't mind a striker. I wouldn't mind that. Um, I wouldn't mind a striker at all. I'll take whatever they give me, but I'll take a wrestler. I'll take a jiu-jitsu man. Um, with the gym with Lloyd's, it's pretty well rounded. So I have guys that can help me prepare either type of camp I need to be in, for my fight.
Well, I like that, you did sign with one championship, because one thing that's different about that organization is that you're beginning your career, right? You're gonna debut, your professional debut's coming up, but you're gonna be on the big stage at the same time. So you start on the big stage,
Yeah,
but you're not gonna be thrown into the lions either. You're gonna develop through,
yeah,
the years, right? And that's what's good though. You know what I mean? You don't have to work through the regional scene in some ways, and they're not gonna Aaron Pico you. You know what I mean? Like,
that guy was too good. He was too good. He already boxed his whole life and stuff.
yeah.
That guy's a
Well,
freak.
he was thrown to the lions too at an early age, early in his career.
He finished a couple people, and then he had Henry Corrales, who's not a slouch
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. It's like 3 fights in Henry Corrales.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I didn't want to have to, as you know, it's very ignorant of me to say that, but to, I didn't want to have to go through the regional scene. I mean, I just at the time where I was at, that's how I felt. You know, it could have changed for sure, but I'm just happy. I love the big stage. Um, that's why I thrived the most is getting on into the big stage as far as like wrestling and whatnot. So I can't wait to go out there.
Yeah, man. If you know, you gotta take what comes to you with this career, right? And this opportunity is gonna be big, and I hope much success, man, through the years. And I'll be following because I watch all the events and follow the fighters. And that welterweight division, it's a division that's developing, so you could make a run. You know what I mean? That's what's fun about it. So Garrett, man, appreciate the time. And next time when we speak, it'll be before your promotional debut, so it'll be exciting, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. I appreciate you helping me with the platforms. It means a lot.